Well, first of all, I only had a few glimpses, but enjoying my first experience in Louisville and Kentucky. Some good history around this city, and had a few glimpses. So looking forward to training this afternoon, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun game tomorrow. A tough tactical game, also tough with a couple of changes, and while we have a very experienced group and players stepping up, we'll be fine. Um, we haven't been the first game of this period, and I think it's going to be an exciting opportunity to try and get on the same page very quick. And we also have a lot of respect for what Louisville have been doing over the last few weeks and the additions they've made. And it'll be a very different Louisville team that we faced in Portland 3 games ago.
All right, we will start things off with Grant Little.
Hey, Mark, hope you're doing well. I got two quick questions for you. I was just wondering if you could enlighten us about the health of the forwards. I know that some of them had knocks and were on limited minutes. And then the other question is, I was wondering if you could describe Olivia Moultrie's style of play. We know she's a midfielder, but I was just wondering what kind of midfielder is she and what does she bring to the table now that she's available for selection?
Yeah, Tyler Lucy still has a small issue and has not travelled. I expect her to be out for a couple more weeks. Sophie Smith will be available for limited minutes. So does she start and come out early, or does she come on in the second half? Simone Charlie, Morgan Weaver are both healthy. In the Carolina game, both players were on managed and limited minutes from small knocks during the international period. So we're looking healthier than last week, which is an important step. Liv, I think she has all the qualities and attributes that I'll get into to be a number 10. But because of her engine and her physical ability, she also, I think, can be a tremendous number 8 box-to-box midfielder. And I think we've done this a few times with people that are very good in the 10 spot when they have the ability to impact the game on both sides, every blade of grass, but also both 18s, being able to build up, also finish the attack. We love to see them in the 8. I think of Lindsay, I think of Rocky. They're two players that come to mind that could easily be in 10s and have been 10s. Liv has a great positional knowledge, awareness, a scanning ability to find pockets and space, ability to receive and get on the turn, also receive in tight areas. She loves to get on the dribble, passing with either foot, through balls with either foot. And she has a desire, but also a knowledge to be able to get in towards the 18, around the 18, into the 18 at the right time, to be able to take shots and finish the attack. Defensively, she's continued to improve her work rate, her technical ability in defending. And that's something that we saw in pre-season and we're pleased with, is that she was very physically dominant against senior players on the defensive side as well as the offensive side. So excited to see her get the opportunity at some point to show these qualities and build on where she's currently at.
Just a reminder, if you have a question for Mark, please make sure to raise your hand. Next, we'll go to Tyler.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're doing well. After last game, you said that you felt like your team thrives in these situations where you have people gone at the Olympics or kind of faced with challenges. What have they shown you to make you feel that way?
Well, I think it's previous years' experience that has really, that drives that belief that you mentioned. So far this week, yeah, it's normal. Everything is normal. That also confirms the belief. We're a very established group culturally and in style of play, identity on the field, and everything has been as normal as ever. And I think us as staff, we've had feel like a shorter week in preparation, and trying to look back and review, reflect, as well as look forward and prepare for Louisville. We had one real day of training before we headed out here. We'll train again today. So it's, I'm looking forward to having more time with the group. And it was important for us to be able to just reset and remind the key parts of our game, where it's open play and set pieces. We do a little bit more of that today. But otherwise, we're normal week. We feel confident. We feel familiar on and off the field. And you're right, there is always an excitement to this period. And I've said this a few times. the enthusiasm, passion, and excitement, optimism for this period isn't all sunshines and roses. There's going to be speed bumps and barriers that we'll work through, just like every other team. But I really, really strongly believe the medium and long-term impact of this period for these players and for our team is huge, because I've experienced it before. And I now see people who are really dominating this league that have thrived in these periods in previous years, and it was critical to their development. And as a result, our team now is reaping the benefits. So it's not just important for the individual, it's also become very important to our team.
All right, we'll go back to Tyler.
Yeah, Coach, I think you said earlier this season that you weren't very super involved in trying to get Olivia eligible to play and just that whole process. But what has it been like for you to kind of see her go through that, and maybe what have you seen to be kind of the most difficult part of that for her?
Yeah, I have a huge amount of respect of everyone that's gone through that process, you know, the front office of our club. But first of all, Liv, her parents, her sisters, and also support family. For me, it's been a bit of a confusing process. I'm honestly reading most of the time on Twitter, just like everyone else. And I think if I got distracted with the details of that, it would have just made me more frustrated or angry. And I'll get to that in a second. I just stayed focused on Liv. We have a really important staff here at this club that help everyone. One member of staff, Rich Gunny, for 2.5 years has been a one-on-one support mechanism and mentor for Liv. So Rich has been staying obviously close to the situation, as well as everyone has, making sure that, you know, Liv's at times has a mentality that is just relentless and unbreakable. But at the same time, this has been a lot. So we've been trying to make sure she's open with us and sharing. It can't be all amazing every day. Stress has to obviously build up. But Liv has I give her huge credit. She's done a tremendous job of staying very focused and being very present, being focused on what's the most important and what she can control, and being very present in the moment. And she's always about now. And then once now's finished, what can I do tomorrow to grow, to improve, to get better on and off the field? I think that's been able to keep her calm throughout this period. And then my own quick thoughts is, I'm so happy for Liv. I'm so happy for Portland Thorns, of course. And you'll hear me talk about that a lot more in the future. I think what's not being talked about enough is this is very important for development in this country. Go back to 2016 when Mal Pugh was trying to come into the league, and then a rule change for Tina Davidson to come out of college early. And now the college rule change has evolved the draft even more. We're slowly making progress on giving opportunity, providing more pathways for young players. When I've seen U17 national team come back from tournaments or U20 tournaments and spoken to those staff, they've all shared the same frustrations that our Americans here are not as experienced as other countries, and they're playing against professionals. And under 17 tournament, they feel they're playing against players from professional clubs, same with under 20s. Here in this country, I think we have, instead of sitting down at a table and saying, how do we create more pathways? It sometimes feels like we've sat down and said, how do we make it harder? That's how it feels. I know that's not the case, or hope it's not, but that's how it feels. So I'm really happy for Olivia. I'm really happy for Portland. But this is, I think the bigger picture is this pathway being, broken down. It's going to be important for the future of top, the 0.01% youth player in this country, which also then is going to go on and have a massive impact for the US senior national team in the long term. And if they're already where they are, imagine where they can be if we continue to support this pathway with a massive warning alarm of the sensitivity and the how you need to be so careful when managing the pathways for young players and the needs for young players and the welfare of young players. I know that will scare a lot of people, but there are a lot of people around the world have been able to support that side as well as the player development. And I'm glad that we've taken this step, and I hope we continue to build more pathways and not create more barriers.
All right, we'll go back to Tyler again. Yeah,
do you kind of have a plan of right now of how you're going to transition her into this season? Is it something you expect her to play tomorrow or in the next week, or just what have you kind of planned out for in terms of that?
The plan is very similar for Yasmin Ryan, for Hannah Betfall when she comes back from injury, other players that haven't had as many, Marissa Everett, who hasn't had as many minutes opportunity yet. The plan is going to be the same, of course, individually, where are they at? Collectively, what's the positional need? I guess that is the answer, but I know you'll need more specifics than that, but she's if we change the number from 15 to 23, I think the expectations for a player that's been training with a team for 2.5 years now and is now able to play, we're going to see it across the league. There's going to be a lot of players making their first minutes for their teams across this league, and those players, including Liv, are going to play well, and those players also won't get it perfect. And it's going to be that's youth development. That's player development, not youth development. Take that word out. It's player development. It's going to be bumpy. So yeah, excited to be able to have this opportunity. I absolutely expect in the next few weeks, if Yasmin, if Liv and other players are performing, you're going to see them on the pitch more in training. I think in the next few weeks we will see Liv's first set of minutes, and that'd be a great starting point, like we saw with Yaz. I thought that was a great starting point. Get it out the way and then move on and staying focused on the process, staying focused on what this is all about, which is growing and getting better. And she's done that so well, Liv has, over the last 2.5 years. And that's where I think she separates herself. You can see a lot of ability from her, but she separates herself with this perspective and this mindset. When we knew this was close, we had a conversation, and it was all about that nothing, just the chapter has changed and nothing's been achieved yet. It's just it's all about training, growing and getting better, and it's a mental relief, but that's it. And game minutes are crucial in development. So once we get those rolling, give us more opportunity to learn and improve. And she stands in a very small group in that type of mindset of really just staying present and just trying to grow every day.
All right, do we have any final questions for Mark? Okay, last one, Tyler.
I know you mentioned that Louisville has added some pieces since you last played them, but what did you learn from playing them the first time, and what can you take going into tomorrow's game from that?
It's a really hard question to answer, because the game will not be the same game. We can't prepare, we can't coach, players can't, thinking from the last game. Two big factors. We had come off a couple of negative results, just one away at Gotham, and we got to play home in front of our fans again. We were absolutely ready to take on the world and let off a lot of steam. And that was one of our most complete performances. It was a lining of the stars for us to come out. Doesn't matter who we're playing against. We were really strong. Louisville had a tough travel. Players were in and out of injury. There's just two teams in two different places. Now, we've flipped a little bit. They're going to have an incredible crowd and atmosphere. We've lost some players. We've got to find ourselves a little bit. They've built consistency. They've got key pieces back in, established and playing in the team regularly. So it's a different game. I'm sorry for avoiding your question. Of course, there's lessons. But I think it's more about where are they now and what are their strengths or opportunities for us to hurt now, and what do we predict? Where are we currently? Where have we been? And where are our strengths? How do we impose those strengths as often as possible in this game?